All right, guys. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the data model of Monday and how Monday is overall structured, all the way from the account to workspace down to the item level and sub-item level. So let's jump in and check it out. And it comes in 6 different layers. So the first layer, the highest level that we have, is known as the account. So you're going to notice your account over here within your domain itself. Okay, for instance, omnipatron-demos.monday.com. This is our account for demonstration purposes. And you can also find the account name if you go into your profile, click your profile right here. You'll be able to see OmniPatron Demos or whichever account you are using right there. So that's the first level. The second level down is going to be known as Workspaces. Think of Workspaces as departments in your company. So if you were already using Monday, you might see your different departments over here, such as sales, marketing, customer success, finance, accounting. That would be the typical layout of how you would see Workspaces over here. But for right now, we're going to be going into the main workspace, which is an empty workspace within Monday, and we're just going to be demoing the next steps. So the third tier down after workspaces is going to be folders. So if we go into the blue plus icon right here, click plus, and don't worry about everything else that you see over here for now. We're just going to worry about folder. And so we click folder and we create folders. And Monday allows us, at the time of making of this video, to create 3 levels of folders. So we are going to, let's say, start out by naming this folder 1. And then within folder 1, we click on the 3 dots, create in folder. We're just going to name this folder 2. And then within folder 2, we will create folder 3. So now why have these 3 different folders? Because our next step in the hierarchy that we are going to have is truly the bread and butter of Monday, which is boards. And this is essentially where you will be working day in and day out within Monday if you're going to be working within the Monday workspace itself and not simply viewing dashboards that have a public link or are supposed to be accessible to the public. If you're going to be working in Monday, this is essentially what you're going to be working with for the most part. Now, if we create a board, let's assume that we are a consulting organization and we are trying to work with a lot of different companies. Our companies are essentially our clients, so we're going to name this highest level board companies. And the privacy is going to be main for now. And we are also going to name the items, which is actually the next level down. After boards, it's the items, which are essentially existing inside of every single board. What are we calling these things that we are managing? These are known as items, but we can custom name them into whatever we want. So if we're managing the company's board, then we are managing companies as the items themselves. Usually, the board name and the item name can be either the similar or the same, but you can always change these up if you want to. So we do create board. And as we zoom out, we will see here on the left-hand side, companies. So this companies right here, let's assume right now we're not going to arrange it in folder 1, 2, 3. What would come after companies? So within each company, we would have, let's say, departments. Now, if I was to create another board, I could hit the plus icon and do board again, or I could just simply go here and duplicate this board. So if I duplicate it, and let's zoom out, I'm going to say over here, we are going to name it as either divisions or departments, but we'll call them departments right now. And we do this. Okay. And then within departments, we're going to, let's say, have another board called employees. Now, this is a very simplified example just to get you guys understanding of how the structure works. So if we were to leave these three boards in the workspace itself, you'll see they'll kind of stack up like this, but it's not necessarily organized as best as we need to have it. So what we would do is we would essentially have companies go into folder 1, departments into folder 2, oh, there we go, and employees into folder 3. So now if we wanted to collapse these folders or expand them, we can see a clean structure of the type of data that we're looking at. So again, within this structure that we have nicely created, if we go into one of the boards, we see the different items. And within the items themselves, we'll see that Monday is very smart. It knew that I was going to be creating different companies as the items themselves. And it's asking me, do I want to create a new company? And I can also do a new group of companies, or I could also import companies using Excel. But for right now, we're just going to type in, let's say, oops, there we go. Let's zoom out. Let's say we do company 1. And over here, we're going to do company 2 and company 3. Now, the departments board over here, which is the next tier down, this was a very simplified example of having companies, departments, and employees. But what you would essentially have in the stacking themselves, as you start to build out Monday into truly a complex data management, a data relationship management platform, you will actually have multiple subboards for a single board going up hierarchically. So instead of this being departments, this is companies. So let's say within the companies board, we have company 1, right? So what we are trying to do is in folder 2, the departments themselves are going to be just the departments of company 1 itself. So this would essentially be renamed into company 1 departments. Now again, this name might be very long and we could always rename it differently, but this is again just for demonstration purposes to make the point. And we would duplicate this. We would call these company 2 departments and bring that board up here and duplicate company 2 departments into company 3 departments. Now, we are starting to see a relationship form. If we see over here, we had in one folder companies. Now within the companies board, company 1, 2, and 3, this is essentially a line item, a single item that has different properties, which we will discuss in a future video. But this is not as detailed. This is very high level of an overview of this company 1. The properties are only going to describe this company 1 over here. If we wanted to get granular, which is the superpower of Monday, it's creating these hierarchical boards whereby now company 1 itself, instead of living as a line item, is going to live also as its own board. This, in a future video, which we will discuss probably in more detail, is the bread and butter of what is known as the high level and the low level relationship of boards, or the relationship of project management, where we have the high level projects and then we have the low level tasks. So within company 1 lives on its own board, and each of these would be, let's say, department 1. And then if I do shift enter, I can enter department 2 department 3, and so on. So now, within the company 1 departments board, we can now have individual item properties, data that we are collecting and interacting with that only are supposed to be with each individual department. And we could also get granular from there as well. So if we were to go into folder 3 within the departments themselves, maybe we want to manage sub-departments or employees. So in this case, for instance, we've created employees. So this would be company 1 employees. So we would rename this company 1, or actually that would be company 1 department 1 employees. Company 1 department 1 employees. And again, this is a very rough example, but you see the point that we're trying to make. We would have employee 2, employee 3. Now, in a realistic scenario, outside of this demonstration purpose, employees and teammates would probably live centrally on their own board, and then we would link them to other boards, but that is going to be for another video. This is just to show that we are essentially creating a structure of, hey, we have companies here. Within the companies board, we have multiple companies, and how to describe each of these companies, we have their own boards. Within the boards over here, we have department 1, 2, 3. Now over here, this would be, for instance, company 1, department 1 employees. And then we would have company 1, department 2 employees, department 3 employees, and so on and so forth. So you are creating this hierarchical relationship. So obviously, if we were to have within each company 3 departments, we would have 3, 3, 3, which would create 9 boards of company to employee boards right down here. So you guys see the point. Now, what we can do also in Monday, which is a really cool superpower that Monday has, is instead of necessarily dividing everything up in boards, which is one technique, if we wanted to minimize the level of boards that we are using, we can go and create, and I'll just use companies as an example, we can create something known as sub-items. And this is unique to Monday. So if we click this drop down right here that says expand this item, we can create sub-items that pertain to that item itself. So in this example, for instance, we created within the companies board, we have company 1, 2, and 3, right? The sub-items would essentially be the same hierarchical relationship of the folder 2 boards. So over here, we would have department 1, and we do shift enter, department 2, shift enter, department 3. Now, you guys see the difference. Instead of necessarily needing to use a full board to describe company 1 departments, company 2, company 3, over here we could use sub-items where within company 1, we can describe department 1, department 2, department 3 within the company 1 itself. So instead of it living as this, it could live as sub-items. Now, one quick thing I will note here is that there is essentially a 7th layer, or a layer in between the boards and the items themselves that we can utilize. So instead of it being truly a 6-level hierarchy, we can consider Monday even as a 7-layer hierarchy. And who knows, in the future, this might even change as well. But when we have the boards themselves and the items, and then we have the sub-items, between the items and then the board themselves, we can also still segment data by the groups. So if you see over here the groups right here that have the colorful writing, you'll see that the items live underneath the groups themselves. So instead of, let's say, having companies and then company 1, company 2, company 3, we can even completely change this up to have groups as a company. So we could have this as company 1, and then this group over here, company 2, and we could add another group to be company 3. Now, if we take a look at this structure, company 1, 2, 3, we can collapse these. You'll see a summary of their properties whenever you work with them, or if we expand them back out. So if we have the companies over here, then the items themselves would be the departments. So department 1, we could delete all these sub-items because they don't make sense right now. This would be, instead of company 2, it would be department 2. Let's just zoom in. And this would be over here, department 3. So as you could see, there's just so many different layers to it. If we include the group as well, we can essentially say that Monday is a true 7-layer system instead of a 6-layer system. So if we were to look at it from the top again down, we have the account, we have the workspaces that we work with, we have different folders that we can arrange different boards into, we have the boards themselves, and now we also showed the groups if we wanted to consider the groups a standard hierarchical component as well. We use these for other purposes as well, which is why I did not initially show it. It's used mostly for segmenting based on certain property characteristics, which we will get into in another video. But if you wanted to use it as part of the data hierarchy, you essentially turn Monday into the 6th layer, from the 6th layer to the 7-layer system. So if this would have been then the next layer, groups, then the items themselves would be the next groups. And then lastly, we would have the sub-items. So hopefully this has given you guys a little bit of a perspective of how the layer hierarchy works in Monday. And again, this is not strictly a 6-layer, a 7-layer, a 5-layer system. You can use as many layers as you want. So if you didn't want to use any folders, you can take that layer out of the equation completely. And you could just have boards that live on their own without any folders. As you could see, if I'm zoomed in over here, you could see as I move it around, the little shadow behind it tends to go from left to right or right to left. And that is essentially showing you what sort of a layer do you want to classify this in. And then we could just delete these folders altogether. So Monday is a super fluid system. And this has been just a quick demonstration of the architecture and the data model. Hey guys, just real quick, I wanted to show you another smaller micro layer, if you will, of Monday's structure. So if we go into one of the boards over here, I'm just going to zoom in real quick. So obviously we discussed the items and sub-items. What we can do also for these items, besides of course we have videos where we're going to show of the different column types and how we can add different types of data here, but we can also have updates and detailed updates about these items, as well as, if you wanted to, let's see, test sub-item, you can have them in the sub-item as well. And it says right here, write a new update. So if you were to click any of these plus symbols, you could see over here what we can do. a card opens up on the right-hand side. And what you have essentially is an updates feed where if this is, let's say, Department 1, we could say something that is to detail Department 1. So Department 1 has multiple divisions, for instance. Ask the division manager. Something very simple as that. It is also a full text editor, so we could do a full different types of formats: bold, italics, underline, strike through. Text colors we could change if we wanted to. Let's say if I wanted to do Department 1 as a green, for instance. The size, numbers, bullets, we could change all that. We'd also insert a table over here, which is really, really cool. And Monday, again, is coming out with a lot more features. Let's see, if I go A, B, for instance, C, D, and then E and F, as you can see, we have now a table inserted over here. And we could do hyperlinks. We could set the alignment and a lot more, as you could see. So this update section, treat it as a almost like a sticky note section. And it could also be even more detailed than a sticky note. You could have multiple notes going down. So this is essentially updates a continual feed of what is happening with this item over here. Now, my recommendation is if you are trying to save certain types of data, save them into the different columns. So let's just click this and then I'll show you guys. Save them definitely into the columns, and you should see that in one of our videos as well, so where we go over the columns. But if you don't need to interact with the data in terms of automations or sending this data to another board, you could just keep it in the update section. The only thing is that you have to open up the update section with an actual click to be able to see those details. You can't just automatically see them on your board over here. So if I click at this, we can see that update that I just posted over here. You can also update via email. So if I click this, create updates via email, create updates on this item by sending an email to this address. So basically this item has a unique barcode, if you will. This Department 1, it has a unique link that if you were to send an email to that address, it would start posting updates on this wall over here that we see. So really, really cool. Monday is updating a lot of really cool stuff. So this is a secure address. People outside the company can use it. And then this one is a custom address that can be used by account members. So people inside of Monday itself. And also what we can do, let's see here, add view to favorites. We could add the view there. We could set this as the board default, and we see that the update section is the board default with the little house icon. We can also look at files. So if there was a files column type here on the board, you would automatically see those files pop up over here. Or if you don't have a dedicated files column type, you could just attach your files over here. But again, if you do them over here, people have to actually click into that updates bubble in order to then see this. And then we have activity log. This is a history of what has been happening to this item since its creation. What columns have been changing on it, who's been updating about it, and everything else. You're going to find it all over here. And there's also more things we can do as well. So if you see this little plus icon, if you guys have not seen the views video yet, where we have the different board views, this is kind of similar to that, but it's only pertaining to one item itself. So not for the board itself, which you will see them up here in one of my other videos, but this is going to be a view type just for this item view. So if we click this, we could see that we could do similar to the views video that I'm discussing all of these ones. So table, chart, Gantt, the file gallery, the customizable views. Emails and activities is a really, really cool one. So over here, if I just put this in, this is mainly a Monday CRM feature. This is their separate product, Monday CRM. So if we just click this product switcher over here, right now we're in work management, but in the Monday CRM, you can get this feature. So it's really cool. You could basically email people out. So you would treat your board like a CRM, and you would use this emails and activities feature to do follow-up emails, answer and respond to emails right here inside of Monday instead of going to Gmail or Outlook. So really, really cool. Another feature that the view section here in the updates area, we have an item card, which is basically going to display all of these column data in terms of a vertical list rather than a horizontal column. So if I do item card, we could see exactly what that looks like. And if I was to zoom out, you'll see how it looks. So for instance, on this board, we have person, status, and date. We could see here person, status, and date. So it's just another item card that you could view the column types in a different way. And last but not least, item description. This one is self-explanatory. Think of it just as a long text field, that the way you would have a long text field inside of a column. This is just giving you that functionality here in the items update section. So anyways, guys, let's see if I do the /, yep, you could see you could format it in different ways. So when you guys take a look at the Monday docs video that I have, think of this as that. So it's a long text field, but really a lot more powerful than that. So it has a lot more capabilities. You could do full content posting. So media such as the images, videos, embed links, dynamic values of the columns over here. So a lot more than just a rich text editor. You could do a lot more in this. So thanks so much, guys, and we will see you in the next series of videos.